The Canadian toonie, also known as the Canadian $2 coin, was introduced on February 19th, 1996 by Minister of Public Works Diane Marleau. It holds the highest monetary value of any circulating Canadian coin as of 2024. It was designed as a bimetallic coin and features a polar bear on the reverse side, which was crafted by artist Brent Townsend. The obverse of some 2023 and 2024 toonies will bear the portrait of King Charles III, but most of the Canadian toonies that you find will have the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse. Toonies are manufactured with a patented bimetallic coin locking mechanism, which gives them an estimated lifespan of up to 20 years compared to the 1-year lifespan of the discontinued $2 bill. In the year 2012, the Canadian Mint announced design changes to enhance security features, including alterations to the composition of the coin's core and outer ring. The moniker of toonie was given to the coin as a blend of two and loonie, which is Canada's $1 coin, and it is commonly spelled Toonie. The coin was officially launched in the year 1996 with the Winnipeg facility of the Canadian Mint striking 375 million coins by the year's end. The introduction of the toonie marked the end of the Canadian $2 bill's circulation, which was withdrawn 3 days before the coin's release. Notable landmarks like the Toonie Monument in Campbellford, Ontario were erected to commemorate its designer's hometown and celebrate the coin's significance in Canadian currency. When the toonie was first being released in the year 1996, the Canadian Mint made a promise to fulfill a quota of a certain amount of toonies entering circulation, and they weren't sure if they could fulfill this quota. So they actually contracted a company by the name of Deutsche Nickel in Germany to help take some of the stress off, and Deutsche Nickel produced some of the planchettes for the Canadian 1996 toonies. Now, there were somewhere around 350 million Canadian planchette toonies produced and only 10 million of the German planchette toonies. So the German is the rare of the two 1996 planchette varieties, and I've actually made videos on the 1996 German planchette toonies in the past. If you guys would like to check those out and get some more information, I definitely suggest you go give them a little look-see. But little known to most, there are actually a few varieties you can look for on the Canadian planchette toonies, which can add some pretty substantial values to your coins and make them worth a lot more than their face value. The sad reality is when it comes to modern Canadian denominations like the loonie and toonie, there just aren't too many rare and valuable varieties to look for, but these are some of the more rare toonie errors that you can identify on your 1996 toonies. And as long as it is not a counterfeit, because there are plenty of those floating around these days, then you can make some pretty good money if you can identify any of these errors. So what do you say we start off with the first one, which is going to be the 1996 Cigar variety. The 1996 Cigar variety error on Canadian toonies is characterized by a die chip on the end of the polar bear's nose, resembling a cigar above its mouth on the reverse side of the coin. Now, to identify this error, you need to inspect the reverse side of the coin where the polar bear is depicted, and then look closely at the end of the bear's nose above its mouth for the presence of a small protrusion or anomaly resembling a cigar. This small die chip on the polar bear's nose most likely occurred during the minting process due to a small piece of debris or damage on the die used to strike the coins. As the die came into contact with the planchette, the debris or damage transferred onto the coin's surface, resulting in this unique cigar-shaped anomaly on the polar bear's nose. This error could have originated from a variety of factors, including imperfections in the die or foreign material accidentally introduced at some point during the minting process. Now, if you can identify this die chip that resembles a cigar on your 1996 toonie, it will typically be found on the Canadian planchette, but if you can find one on a German planchette, it will be worth a whole heck of a lot more than the estimates that I'm giving you. But in most cases, these errors and varieties are probably going to be found on the Canadian planchettes, as there were so many more of them produced than the German. Now, if you can identify the cigar die chip on the 1996 toonie, it can be worth around $10 for an MS63 and all the way up to $75 for an MS65. If it was to grade any higher than that, you would see some pretty substantial price jumps. You could easily be talking a $300 coin if it scored that MS67. If you were to buy an uncirculated roll of 1996 toonies, you may be able to score that high grade. That would probably be your best chance, because if you're finding them in your pocket change or coin roll hunting, they probably aren't going to be quite that high in condition. So let's move on to the next variety, which is going to be the 1996 horn variety. The 1996 horn variety air on Canadian Toonies is distinguished by a die chip on top of the polar bear's nose, appearing between its mouth and eyes, resembling a horn somewhat reminiscent of a unicorn. To identify the horn variety on your 1996 Toonies, you want to examine the reverse side of the coin where the polar bear is depicted on the center core. Then pay close attention to the area between the polar bear's mouth and eyes on top of its nose for the presence of a small protrusion or anomaly resembling a horn. The origin of the die chip that resembles a horn would have stemmed from similar factors with the Cigar variety. Most likely at some point during the minting process, there was a flaw or imperfection on the dies used to strike these coins. As the dies came into contact with the planchettes, the flaw transferred onto the coin surface, resulting in these unique horn-shaped anomalies on the polar bear's nose. Now, if you can identify the die chip on top of the polar bear's head, which will basically resemble a horn, I would say it makes the polar bear look almost like a unicorn, then it can add a pretty substantial value to your 1996 toonie. It can be worth around $40 in an MS63 and all the way up to $150 for an MS65. So the 1996 horn variety is just about twice as rare and valuable as the Cigar variety, which is pretty strange considering they are both very similar and they are a die chip. I guess the location of this die chip means just about everything when it comes to the value of these toonies. And last but not least, we have the no ice variety for the Canadian 1996 toonies. If you are somewhat versed in Canadian coins, you might have heard of the horn or cigar variety for the 1996 toonies, but recently a new variety or air has come onto the scene, and that is the no ice variety. The 1996 no ice variety on Canadian toonies is characterized by a lack of detail in the background behind the polar bear. When inspecting between the polar bear's legs, you may notice a notable absence of detail, particularly in the depiction of the cracks of ice that are typically visible on standard issues of the 1996 toonies. To identify the 1996 no ice variety air, examine the reverse side and focus on the area between the polar bear's legs in the background. Look for a lack of detail in this region, particularly the absence of the usual cracks of ice that are present on the regular 1996 toonie issues. This reduced or faint appearance of the details indicates the presence of this air or variety. This lack of detail in the 1996 no ice variety air is most likely attributed to die polishing during the minting process. Die polishing involves smoothing or refining the surface of the die to remove imperfections or irregularities. In this case, excessive polishing or unintentional damage to the die may have resulted in the loss of detail in the background behind the polar bear, including the cracks of ice. As a result, the air variety exhibits a distinct lack of detail compared to the standard 1996 toonies. Now, when it comes to determining the value of the 1996 no ice variety toonie, I was actually not able to find any estimates online or in any of my coin catalogs. This is a fairly new air that has just come onto the scene as of recent, but if I had to give my estimate, I would say it's probably similar in value to the 1996 Cigar variety. I don't want to say it's quite on the high end, but if you can identify this, it will definitely have a premium. So it can probably be worth around $10 for an MS63. You might be able to get around $75 for an MS65, and if it scores in a very high grade around an MS67, you might even be able to get $300 to $500 depending on how bad somebody wants the coin. So the most valuable of these three 1996 toonie varieties that you can identify is the horn variety. If you were to find one and it scored an MS67, you may be able to get up to $1,000 for this coin. Your best chances of being able to find high grade examples of these would probably be to buy an uncirculated roll from your local coin shop or one of the online coin auction sites. Even if you were to spend $100 to $150 on an uncirculated roll of 1996 toonies, if the roll does have any of these errors or varieties, you could potentially turn a massive profit. And the good thing about some of these errors is usually when you buy a roll, if one of the coins in the roll has any of these errors or varieties, then probably all of them will, as coins are usually struck in sequence and bunched together. So usually when you find errors or varieties, you will find them bunched together in an uncirculated roll. Now I'm going to give you guys some of the details and specifications for the 1996 Canadian toonies For anyone that isn't aware, there's a huge problem with counterfeit toonies in Canada, and I have encountered 4 different dates of counterfeit toonies: 1996, 2000, 2005, and 2006, and the most counterfeit toonies that I've stumbled across have the date of 1996. And if you find a Canadian 1996 counterfeit toonie, it doesn't matter if you identify any heirs or varieties, it is basically worthless and actually illegal to own if you know that it is a counterfeit coin. So hopefully that problem will be addressed soon. But some of the details and specifications for the 1996 toonies: the Canadian planchette 1996 toonie has a mintage figure of 315,483,000. The German planchette 1996 toonie has a mintage figure of 10 million. So the German planchette is far rarer than the Canadian planchette toonie. I'm not going to go into how to identify and differentiate between the different planchettes of the 1996 toonies. If you guys would like to find that out, I definitely suggest you check out my video on the German planchette toonies. Now, some of the specifications. The 1996 toonies outer ring is composed of 100% nickel. Its inner core is composed of 92% copper, 6% aluminum, and 2% nickel. It has a weight of 7.3 grams, a diameter of 28 millimeters, a thickness of 1.8 millimeters. The coin was designed and engraved by Dora DePadre Hunt and Augo Aran for the obverse, and Brent Townsend and Augo Aran for the reverse. The edge of the coin is interrupted reading, and it has a diaxis and metal alignment, as is the standard for most Canadian, British, and Australian coins. Between the years 1997 and 2001, the Royal Canadian Mint did not produce loonies for general circulation. This unusual hiatus means that any $1 coins from those years found in your pocket change or through coin roll hunting were originally part of special collector sets, rather than being minted for everyday transactions. The decision not to mint loonies for general circulation during this period could have been influenced by several factors, including sufficient stock of existing coins, shifts in minting strategies, or cost-saving measures. This unique gap in production makes the few loonies that were produced during these years particularly noteworthy and rare. In 1997, to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the iconic loonie, which was introduced in 1987, the Royal Canadian Mint released several special versions of the $1 coin. One of the standout pieces from that year is the Flying Loon proof-like loonie. This coin features a unique depiction of a loon taking flight, capturing a dynamic and elegant moment in nature, distinct from the standard loonie design. This unique reverse design also bears the dual date of 1987 to 1997, celebrating a decade since the loonie became a staple in Canadian currency. Although these NIFC coins were not released in general circulation, they were included exclusively in sets meant for collectors, adding to their exclusivity and scarcity. The most rare of all of the 1997 Canadian $1 coins that you might actually stumble across in your pocket change is the proof-like version of this Flying Loon dollar coin. Although the finish on this coin wouldn't be different than that of a standard business or circulation strike, the fact that it has this unique commemorative design and is also the most scarce and sought after of the few loonies that were made in collector sets in 1997, it only adds to its allure. And the great thing is that not too many of the coin muggles or amateur coin collectors know about these loonies, so I can personally attest that checking your dollar coins will probably yield the most amount of NIFC coins of any other denominations, because of this extremely large gap in production for Canadian circulation loonies. Almost 5 years they took off. So if you ever expect to make a profit or a return by coin roll hunting Canadian loonies, this is definitely one that you need to have on your radar. In addition to the Flying Loon proof-like loonie, the Canadian Mint also released a regular version of the loonie with the traditional loon design in 1997. This regular proof-like issue coin, while included in collector sets, does not hold the same value as the Flying Loon design. The standard loon proof-like coin is much more common and lacks the unique commemorative design that sets the Flying Loon apart. But if you do find a regular looking loonie with the date of 1997, you should definitely hold on to it, as it is not supposed to be there and in most cases will be worth more than face value. There is also a specimen version struck of the 1997 Flying Loon dollar coin. This version shares the same distinctive design but features a unique specimen finish, which typically includes a combination of a frosted relief and a brilliant background, or it may feature matte grainy lines that run either vertically or horizontally. Although more unique than the regular proof-like loonie, the specimen flying loon is not as rare or valuable as the proof-like or the silver proof versions. Specimen coins are usually produced in smaller quantities than regular proof-like coins, which makes them moderately rare, usually more rare than their proof-like counterparts, but not necessarily in the case of the 1997 flying loon. The silver proof version of the 1997 Flying Loon dollar coin is another notable release. This version shares the same unique reverse design as the proof-like and specimen versions, but is struck in a silver composition, significantly enhancing its value and collectability. This silver proof coin features a high-quality proof finish characterized by its mirror-like surfaces and frosted details, which highlight the intricate design of the loon taking flight. These silver proofs were sold individually in protective cases, emphasizing their status as premium collector items. Both the proof-like and silver proof versions of the 1997 Flying Loon dollar coins are classified as NIFC, which is not intended for circulation. This deliberate choice to distribute these coins only through special sets means that their presence in everyday transactions is a rare occurrence. As such, finding a 1997 loonie in your pocket change or through coin roll hunting suggests that the coin was inadvertently removed from its collector set, making it an incredibly exciting discovery for anyone who is into coin collecting. The fact that there were no general circulation loonies that were minted from 1997 to 2001 further enhances the significance of these 1997 flying loons. This period represents a unique gap in the production of Canadian $1 coins, making any coins from these years particularly noteworthy. The absence of these circulation coins could have been due to various factors such as sufficient existing stock, changes in minting priorities, or economic consideration. This gap means that the limited editions produced during these years are even more special. The 1997 Flying Loon dollar coins in the proof-like, silver proof, and specimen finishes stand out due to their commemorative design, limited releases, and also their NIFC classification. Their rarity is further emphasized by the broader context of no loonies being produced for general circulation in those years. While the standard design proof-like loonies from 1997 are more common and less valuable, the Flying Loon designs are highly prized. Collectors highly value these coins not only for their aesthetic and historical value, but also for the unique circumstances surrounding their issuance and the subsequent appearance and circulation. All of these factors combine to make these 1997 Flying Loon dollar coins highly sought after and potentially valuable additions to any coin collection. Now, what do you say we get into the values and prices that you may be able to sell or acquire one of these Canadian 1997 loonies for? First, we will start with the standard issue or design 1997 Canadian loon. This coin is only available in proof-like sets, so it gets an NBU designation. If you were to find one in your pocket change and it's scored around an NBU 64, which isn't the greatest condition, but it is still pretty mint, it'll be worth around $10, and the maximum value that you can get for it is around $30 for an NBU 67. Now, if you're able to find the Flying Loon design on the 1997 Canadian loonie, which will mean that it will have that unique depiction of a loon taking flight on the reverse, as well as the double date of 1987 to 1997, if it is in the proof-like finish, which will mean that it will look the same as a Canadian business or circulation strike, it can be worth around $30 for an NBU 64 and all the way up to $70 for an NBU 67. If it scored any higher than that, you could easily be talking a $200 to $300 coin. The Sheldon scale is a 70-point system, and usually modern Canadian coins, if they are in exceptional condition, might score a little bit higher than a 67. So if you do happen to have one of these and it looks really nice, I wouldn't hesitate to send it off because you might be able to make a pretty good return on it. So last but not least, we have the 1997 Flying Loon in the silver composition. Now, this is classified as a proof strike, meaning that it came and was sold individually as a proof coin for that special year of issuance. This is the most valuable of the three, but it's because it has the silver composition, and it is probably the one that you have the least chance of finding in your pocket change or coin roll hunting. but never say never. I have found some crazy stuff before. If you guys would like to check out my coin roll hunting videos to see some of the crazy Canadian coins that you can find in circulation, including a Canadian quarter I found out of a set that costs up to $200, then I definitely suggest you go check some of those out. But if you are able to find the flying loon design silver proof loonie coin roll hunting or in your pocket change, it can be worth around $70 for a PR or proof 65 example, and the highest evaluated price currently for this coin is $108 for a PR 68, which is a pretty high grade, but that isn't too bad for a $1 coin. If you were to find a pretty beat up example of one of the 1997 silver flying loons, I don't doubt that you could easily get anywhere from $20 to $50, as it is pretty rare and people will want it for their collection. If you find one of the proof-like examples of the flying loon, I don't doubt that you could still get anywhere from $10 to $20, even if it is pretty beat up, worn, and been put through the meat grinder. They did not make any Canadian loonies for general circulation in 1997, so make sure to keep your eye out, because even if you find a regular loon issue from that year, you have a coin that was not necessarily meant to be there. Die chip airs such as the pedestal D, pedestal S, and pedestal 0 varieties can be found on the 2000 Canadian Toonies and are intriguing anomalies that captivate both numismatists and collectors alike. Understanding the nuances of each of these varieties requires a keen eye for detail and also an appreciation for the intricacies of the minting process. So what I will do is I will go through each of the 3 different pedestal varieties that can be found on the 2000 Knowledge Toonies, and I will tell you how to identify them, and then we will discuss the values of all of these rare coins. So let's start off with the pedestal D variety. This variant is distinguished by a minute die chip located on the bottom left of the letter D in the word dollars on the obverse side of the coin. To identify this anomaly, one must carefully inspect the lettering, particularly in the word dollars. The die chip you are looking for should appear as a small protrusion or imperfection, often barely noticeable to the untrained eye. The die chip in the pedestal D variety can be located to the bottom left of the D in the word dollars. Moving on to the pedestal S variety. To identify this, you have to direct your gaze towards the bottom center of the letter S in the word dollars on the obverse side of the coin. If you can identify a small die chip at the bottom center of the letter S in dollars, then you have the pedestal S variety. Identifying these anomalies requires meticulous scrutiny of the coin's surface with a focus on pinpointing any deviations or irregularities in the lettering. And then last but not least, we have the pedestal 0 variety, which presents a unique die chip error on the reverse side of the coin. So to locate this anomaly, you need to flip over to the reverse and then look at the last digit of 0 in the date of 2000 that is engraved on the coin. If you can find a tiny die chip at the bottom right of the digit 0, it will set it apart from the standard issue Toonies, and you will have the pedestal 0 variety. Now, how exactly do these rare die chip errors come into existence? The creation of die chip errors is a result of various factors inherent in the minting process. During the production of coin dies, which are used to stamp designs onto blank planchettes, imperfections can occur due to wear and tear, improper maintenance, or even minute particles becoming lodged within the coin dies. These imperfections manifest as tiny protrusions or irregularities on the surface of the die, which in turn transfer onto the coins during the striking process. The result is a series of coins featuring these subtle yet distinguishable anomalies, such as the pedestal D, pedestal S, and pedestal 0 varieties found on the 2000 Knowledge Canadian Toonies. In the realm of numismatics, these die chip errors add a level of intrigue and complexity to coin collecting. They serve as tangible reminders of the meticulous craftsmanship and inherent variability that is present in the minting process. As enthusiasts continue to seek out these fascinating anomalies, they contribute to the rich tapestry of numismatic history, preserving and celebrating the quirks and intricacies of coinage for generations to come. Now, some of the details and specifications for the Canadian 2000 Knowledge Toonies, if any of these are off and may indicate that the coin is not authentic, Canada actually has a huge problem with counterfeit toonies. It is not too often that you will find general circulation coins that are counterfeited, because usually it will not be profitable. But in the case of the toonies, it is actually profitable for them to make counterfeits simply because the material that is used is cheaper than the actual face value of the coin. The dates you will usually find for Canadian counterfeit toonies are 1996, 2000 knowledge toonies, and also 2005 and 2006. So you definitely want to make sure all of the specifications are bang on if you want to identify any of the pedestal varieties and be able to get the maximum amount of money out of this coin. Because if you identify these on a counterfeit, it will be pretty much worthless. So the coin is composed of 100% nickel for the outer ring, and the inner core is composed of 92% copper, 6% aluminum, and 2% nickel. It has a weight of 7.3 grams. It has a diameter of 28.00 millimeters for the exterior and 16.8 millimeters for the center, with a thickness of 1.80 millimeters. It was designed and engraved by Dora DePadre Hunt for the obverse and Cosme Saffioti for the reverse. The edge is interrupted serration, and the die axis is in metal alignment, as is the standard for most Canadian, British, and Australian coins. Now let's get into the value for the different pedestal varieties for these 2000 knowledge toonies. First, we'll start off with the 2000 knowledge toonie without any errors or varieties. It can be worth around $2.90 for an MS60, and all the way up to around $150 for an MS67. Now, if you can identify the pedestal D variety, which will mean there will be a small die chip located to the bottom left on the D in the wording for dollars on the obverse of the coin, it can be worth around $5 for an MS63 and all the way up to $350 for an MS66. So the pedestal D variety is about twice as valuable as the regular 2000 knowledge toonie without any errors or varieties. And then we have the 2000 knowledge pedestal S variety. You can identify this by locating the die chip on the center bottom of the S in the wording for dollars. It can be worth around $5.20 for an MS63 and around $300 for an MS66. It's actually a little bit less valuable and rare than the pedestal D variety, but still worth a lot more than the regular issue without any errors attributed. Now, I wasn't actually able to find any of the pedestal zero variety price listings online, but if I had to give an estimate, I would say that it is probably similar in price to the other two, probably worth around $300 for an MS66, and it can probably be worth around $5 to $10, all of these, for an MS63 example. When it comes to their low end value, it's pretty much a case of whatever you can get someone to pay for it is what you will get. If the die chip for any of these pedestal varieties is very noticeable, then it may add a slight premium to the coin. Also, if you can compound any of these varieties together, for instance, if it has the pedestal D and the pedestal S variety at the same time, then you will probably also see some price jumps. It could easily double the value of this coin if you're able to get the pedestal D and S variety both attributed to it. I couldn't doubt that you could get easily around $1,000 for it if it is a high grade example around an MS66 or MS67. So these are some good varieties to look for. None of the Canadian toonies, unfortunately, are worth a whole lot on the low end. If you can identify any of these errors or varieties for these pedestal Canadian toonies, it's pretty much a matter of they are worth whatever you can get somebody to pay for them. The life of Oscar Emanuel Peterson spanned from August 15th, 1925 to December 23rd, 2007. He was a Canadian jazz pianist and composer, renowned as one of the greatest jazz pianists of all time. Over a career spanning more than 6 decades, Peterson released over 200 recordings, garnered 8 Grammy Awards, including a Lifetime Achievement Award, and received numerous other accolades. Known as a virtuoso of his time who presented inventive improvisations, Peterson was dubbed the Maharaja of the Keyboard by Duke Ellington. His extensive body of work and global performances solidified his reputation in the jazz community and beyond. Peterson's collaborations were numerous and varied, often working in duos and trios with notable musicians such as Ray Brown, Herb Ellis, and Joe Pass. His early trio, featuring Brown and Ellis, was particularly celebrated for its cohesiveness and musical synergy. Peterson's ability to adapt and thrive in different ensemble settings highlighted his versatility. Notably, his trio's recording On the Town with Oscar Peterson Trio, captured live in Toronto, is praised for its emotional and musical depth. Born in Montreal to West Indian immigrants, Peterson grew up in the Little Burgundy neighborhood, a hub for Montreal's Black community and its vibrant jazz scene. Initially trained on both trumpet and piano, a bout of tuberculosis shifted his focus solely to the piano. His classical training under Paul DeMarchi shaped his unique style that blended classical precision with jazz improvisation. By his teens, Peterson was already a professional musician, performing on radio with the Johnny Holmes Orchestra. Peterson's later years were marked by several health challenges, including arthritis and a stroke that limited his left hand's mobility. Despite these setbacks, he continued to perform and record, mentoring younger musicians and contributing to jazz education. His legacy includes a profound influence on subsequent generations of jazz pianists, with proteges like Benny Green carrying forward his techniques and musical philosophies. Peterson's impact on jazz remains enduring, celebrated through numerous awards, honors, and also a 2021 documentary, Oscar Peterson Black and White, which was premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival. The Canadian $1 Oscar Peterson Loonies, released in the year 2022, have captured significant interest among collectors and numismatists. Designed by Canadian artist Valentine Delandro, these coins honor the legendary legacy of Oscar Peterson, emphasizing his monumental contributions to both music and civil rights in Canada. The reverse of the coin features a depiction of Oscar Peterson at his piano playing his iconic song, The Hymn to Freedom, surrounded by musical notes and chord symbols from the piece, symbolizing his musical legacy and advocacy for equality. The colored version of this coin, which highlights Peterson's favorite color, purple, is particularly noteworthy. This choice of color adds a vibrant touch that conveys the joy and love of music evident in Peterson's performances. The use of purple not only enhances the aesthetic appeal of the coin, but also adds a layer of personal connection to Peterson, making it a more intimate tribute. The obverse of the coin features the effigy of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, which was designed by Susanna Blunt, maintaining the tradition aspect of Canadian coinage. The Oscar Peterson Loonies, particularly the purple-colored version, has significant market potential and are poised to become valuable collector's items. There are several factors that contribute to their importance and their potential to increase in value. First, the cultural and historical significance. Oscar Peterson is celebrated as one of the greatest jazz pianists and composers in history, not only in Canada but the entire world, and his influence extends beyond music into civil rights. This coin serves as a tribute to his artistic and cultural impact, making it a valuable piece of Canadian history. Its unique design and coloration. The selective use of color, particularly purple, sets this coin apart from other modern and colored Canadian loonies. The vibrant design captures Peterson's spirit and adds a unique visual appeal that is likely to attract collectors. Its limited mintage. Coins with unique designs and limited mintages often see increased demand among collectors. Numismatic appeal. The coin's intricate design by a notable artist, combined with the historical and cultural significance of Peterson's legacy, enhances its numismatic appeal. Collectors often seek coins with strong stories and connections to notable figures. Future market potential. As interest in cultural and historical commemoratives grow, coins like the Oscar Peterson Loonie are likely to appreciate in value. The combination of its unique design, cultural significance, and its scarcity, with only 2 million of the colored examples being struck, it makes these coins promising investments for any collector. Now, it is super important to note that there were 1 million of the non-colored versions of these Oscar Peterson Loonies struck and 2 million of the colors, but even though there are 1 million more of the colored versions struck, I believe that they were a lot more desirable and there are a lot less high-grade examples of them out there, which is what drives up the value. The 2022 Canadian $1 Oscar Peterson coins, particularly the colored version, hold significant importance due to the celebration of Peterson's legacy, their unique design, and also the potential for future value increase. Their appeal to collectors is enhanced by their cultural and historical significance, making them valuable additions to any numismatic collection. Now, what do you say we get into the values for these 2022 Oscar Peterson Loonies? Now, as I mentioned before, the mintage for the non-colored version is 1 million and the mintage for the colored version of this coin is 2 million, but believe it or not, the colored version is actually more valuable even though there are a million more of them made. Now, just to give you guys an idea in price comparison, both the regular 2022 loon design and also the 2022 Oscar Peterson non-colored both have the same price evaluations. They can both be worth around $2.90 for an MS63 and around $90 for an MS67 example. Now, just to give you guys an idea in comparison, the Oscar Peterson colored is actually worth $3.90 for an MS63, so that is a $1 price increase for the same grade. And the maximum price that you can get currently for the 2022 Oscar Peterson colored is $130 for an MS67. Now, that is a relatively high grade for Canadian coins. It is a 70-point system, so it can score a little bit higher if it is in exceptional condition. But even for it to hit that MS67 mark, it has to be pretty much flawless. But that is still a pretty good profit if you're able to find an uncirculated roll of these 2022 Oscar Peterson Loonies. I believe that if you find a business or circulation roll, they will come mixed in the roll. There will be a mix of both the coloreds and the non-coloreds. So if you do find one, you may just want to hold on to the roll, or you could bust it open and send a few in to be graded and hope that they get that MS67 or higher mark, and you may have just hit the jackpot. In the year 2012, there were 3 different tuni designs released for circulation. The first is the original tuni design with no added security features. The second are the security $2 coins. These tunis were meticulously crafted at the Canadian Mint's cutting-edge facility located in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Leveraging the innovative multiply plated steel technology, these coins uphold the same manufacturing approach that has been successfully employed for Canada's lower denomination circulation coinage since the year 2001. This patented method involves the application of alternating layers of distinct metals including copper, nickel, and brass onto a durable steel core. The result is a coin that not only utilizes fewer metals than traditional alloy coins, but also stands out for its cost effectiveness in circulation coin production. Beyond the efficiency of the multiply plated steel technology, the $2 circulation coins of the Security series boast additional security features. These enhancements include new highly visible security elements designed to thwart counterfeiting attempts. The reverse side, also known as the tail side of the coin, showcases a laser mark micro engraving, contributing to the coin's advanced security measures. Furthermore, the $2 coins in the Security series go above and beyond with the incorporation of a virtual image and edge lettering on the reverse side. This innovative addition enhances both the aesthetic appeal and the security profile of these coins, making them not only a functional medium of exchange, but also a testament to the Mint's commitment to staying at the forefront of coinage technology. The third and final 2012 $2 circulation coin that was released is a commemorative with a depiction of the HMS Shannon on the reverse. This coin holds a special significance as it commemorates the historic naval achievements of the HMS Shannon. Renowned for its notable victory in the capture of the USS Chesapeake during a pivotal naval battle in June 1813, this coin pays tribute to a key moment in maritime history. The tuni's reverse side encapsulates the essence of the HMS Shannon's remarkable feat, emphasizing its successful escort of the American War Prize into Halifax Harbor following the defeat of the USS Chesapeake. This engagement, which unfolded in June of 1813, marked a turning point in naval warfare and showcased the prowess of the HMS Shannon and her crew. Tragically, the battle resulted in the loss of 23 Shannon crewmen. The sacrifices made by these individuals are commemorated in the Royal Navy Burying Grounds and at the Old Burial Ground, both administered by St. Paul's Church in Halifax. The graves serve as poignant reminders of the human cost associated with the pursuit of victory and the defense of national interests. Notably, a tangible relic of the HMS Shannon's legacy is preserved in Halifax, the ship's bell. Displayed at the Maritime Museum of the Atlantic, the bell stands as a testament to the vessel's historical significance and the bravery of those who served aboard it. Now, even to find one of these regular HMS Shannon coins in your pocket change can be fun, as this piece serves as a numismatic tribute to the naval prowess, sacrifices, and historical impact of this distinguished vessel. Now, little known to most, there is actually a rare variety that you can look for on this HMS Shannon tuni that can add a premium to the coin, and it is often referred to as the extra sail variety. And to identify it, you should do the following. First, you want to examine the reverse side of the 2012 Canadian HMS Shannon $2 coin. Focus on the depiction of the HMS Shannon, particularly where the ship's sails are located. Now pay close attention to the sails on the right side of the ship, particularly the most closest to the right edge of the coin. In the case of the extra sail variety, there should be one additional sail to the right side compared to the other ship masts and sails. Now, to confirm the presence of the extra sail variety, it's very helpful to compare a coin with a standard 2012 HMS Shannon tuni. For a more detailed examination, consider using magnification, such as a magnifying glass or a coin loop. This can help you scrutinize the finer details of the coin's design and confirm the presence of the additional sail. Numismatic communities and online forums often share images and information about coin varieties. You can check out some reputable sources or online forums where collectors discuss specific coin variations. If you guys are interested in joining my group on Facebook, Canadian Coin Roll Hunters, we actually have over 4,000 members now, and there are some members that post every single day. So if you think that you have found any of the coins that I discuss in any of these videos and you would like to post a picture, you will definitely get some confirmation on whether you have the rare variety or the more common. If you ever are in doubt, or if you want to ensure the accuracy of your identification, consider consulting numismatic experts or a reputable coin dealer. They may have the expertise to confirm the presence of the extra sail variety after physically inspecting the coin and possibly comparing it to high quality images. Now, the overall mintage figures for the 2012 Toonies. The $2 2012 Toonie without any security features has a mintage figure of 1,531,000. The 2012 Toonie with security features has a mintage of 82,862,000. So it would seem that the original Toonie with no security features is a lot more rare in the year 2012, but it is not much more valuable than the other 2012 Toonies. The extra sail is the only one that is worth quite a bit more above face. Now, the overall mintage for the 2012 HMS Shannon Toonie is 5 million, the extra sail variety being a very small limited number contained within that. In terms of its value, just to give you guys an idea in comparison, the regular HMS Shannon Toonie is only worth around $5 for an MS63 example. The most valuable of the 2012 Toonies at an MS63 is the 2012 without any security features, which is worth around $13. Now, if you were to find one of the HMS Shannon Toonies and you can identify the extra sail, that can actually be worth $300 for an MS63 example. So this is a coin that will carry a premium even on the low end. If it's not in great shape, it can still probably be worth anywhere from $5 to $10, and as the condition increases, as will the value. Now, if you were to find one of these and it scored an MS65, it can be worth around $400. And if you got one and it scored an MS67, you might even be talking a $700 to $1,000 toonie, but you definitely need to identify the extra sail or else it is not very valuable at all, not worth much above face, even in a mint state. Canadian proof coins are special early samples of coin issues created for various purposes, including checking the dies for archival reasons. Historically, proof coins were initially made to ensure the accuracy of the dies used in coin production. Today, however, proofs are struck in greater quantities specifically for collector sets. This practice is not unique to Canada, but is actually common worldwide, with nearly all countries issuing proof coinage. The preparation of proof coins involves meticulous polishing of the dies, resulting in coins with sharper rims and design features, as well as smoother fields, which are the blank areas in the background of the coin. Modern proof pieces often exhibit frosted finishes of the design against polished fields achieved through various techniques such as chemical treatments or sandblasting the dies. In the early 19th century, matte proofs were produced, and although they may appear scratched, this was actually an intentional part of the production process. The term proof refers to the process of manufacturing the coins rather than their condition. Certification companies such as PCGS and NGC grade proof coins with the PR designation, with PR 70 being the highest grade, indicating a perfect example. Lower grades such as PR 59 or PR 50 reflect deficiencies in the strike centering details and condition issues on the coin. Most proof coins, including Canadian ones, undergo double striking under higher pressure. This ensures that the dies are fully imprinted onto the coin, capturing intricate details from the original die. Additionally, proof coins are handled separately and individually after being struck, in contrast to regular ones which are often thrown into large bins. When it comes to Canadian coins, those produced for a proof set will receive a PR grade, while those produced for uncirculated or proof-like sets, which are distinct from proof sets, are designated with a PL grade up until the year 1977. The designation changed from PL to NBU, which actually designates the coins as numismatic brilliant uncirculated. Any coins that you buy in proof-like or uncirculated coin sets are actually not much different than the standard circulation issues. They're just handled with a bit more care. But if you buy a proof set of Canadian coins, the strikes will actually be much more prominent, and they could also have a different finish, like possibly a frosted finish. And a lot of the time, they are offered in different compositions as well. You can also buy Canadian proof coins in a sterling silver composition for a lot of years. The Royal Canadian Mint releases various collector sets catering to a wide range of themes and compositions, often showcasing the country's rich cultural heritage, natural beauty, and also significant historical events. The 2007 Canadian Premium Wedding Proof Set holds a distinguished place in the former offerings of the Canadian Mint, marking a significant milestone as the first special wedding set made available for general purchase. Limited to an exceptionally low mintage of only 849 sets, this collection holds immense appeal for collectors and individuals commemorating their own nuptials or those seeking one of these rare 2007 silver loonies. This exclusive set is a testament to the craftsmanship and attention to detail synonymous with the Canadian Mint. Each coin in this unique collection, which includes the traditional circulation coins, is actually minted in sterling silver, which elevates the set to a level of prestige and elegance, benefiting such a monumentous occasion. The use of sterling silver adds not only intrinsic value, but also a luxurious touch to these coins and adds to their visual appeal. Now, without a doubt, the centerpiece of the 2000 wedding sterling silver coin set is the sterling silver dollar, which features the iconic common loon. Complementing this special silver loonie is a bronze medallion crafted to commemorate the bride and groom's special day. This medallion depicts a delicate wedding bouquet on one side, symbolizing love and unity, while the reverse features traditional wedding bells, evoking images of celebration and happiness. The medallion's design is intricately detailed, reflecting the importance of the occasion that it commemorates. Accompanying the set is a separate card providing detailed descriptions of the historical significance of both the wedding flowers and bell, enriching the collector's understanding of the symbolism behind these coins and the medallion. Now, the sterling silver loonie that is included in the 2007 Canadian Premium Wedding Proof Set holds a significant portion of the set's value and appeal. The other denominations produced for the set, aside from the silver loonie, were produced with much higher mintage figures, but the medallion and the sterling silver $1 coin were produced with the mintage figure of only 849, which adds to its rarity and also adds a layer of exclusivity that collectors highly covet. Since the Loonies' release in the year 1987, there have been several sterling silver commemorative Loonies released, but none quite as rare as this one. With only 849 examples produced, it is actually probably one of the rarest and lowest mintage Canadian coins that you can find, and the fact that it comes out of a fairly modern set only adds to its intrigue and appeal to those interested in acquiring rare Canadian coins with extremely low mintage figures. Now, this silver $1 coins composition is 92.5% silver and 7.5% copper, otherwise known as sterling silver. It was crafted with a proof finish, which showcases the impeccable detail and craftsmanship and elevates the aesthetic appeal of this $1 piece. The 2007 silver loonie should measure 26.5 millimeters in diameter, and it should weigh 7 grams. It should have an 11-sided plain edge, which is the standard for Canadian loonies. Now, in terms of this coin's individual value outside the set, you would be hard-pressed to find a loose example of this coin for any less than $300, but usually in most cases you're probably going to be paying a minimum of around $500 or more for a coin like this, even if it's just loose in a coin flip and ungraded. So you definitely want to make sure all of the specifications line up, because I could eventually see some counterfeits floating around, as these are one of the most valuable loonies ever produced since it was first released. Now, when it comes to finding or acquiring one of these 2007 silver loonies, Chances are you probably aren't going to find one of these in your pocket change or coin roll hunting, but never say never. Crazier things have happened, and I've actually found Canadian quarters in circulation that had mintage figures as low as 20,000. I mean, you would have to be a pretty big fool to buy one of these sets with a mintage figure as low as 849 and crack it open for face value, but I could see a few of them having made their way into the wilds of circulation. And even if you don't find one of these loonies in the wild, you can purchase these sets sealed and brand new at your local coin shop. They might be in stock, they might not, but if you check around, you might be able to find one of these sets. I would suggest not paying any more than maybe $900 to $1,000 for the entire set, but this loonie is extremely rare, and I only see the value going up as time goes on. The Canadian 2002 Toonies, featuring the unique date inscription of 1952 to 2002, hold a special significance in the realm of Canadian numismatics. These coins were released to commemorate Queen Elizabeth II's Golden Jubilee, and these coins symbolize a milestone in Canadian coinage history. The obverse side of the toonie depicts the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, while the reverse side features the iconic image of the polar bear. The introduction of the bimetallic toonie in 1996 revolutionized the country's currency, providing enhanced durability and security features. The $2 coin, with its distinctive outer ring and inner core, quickly gained popularity among Canadians and collectors alike. The 2002 Toonies are part of a broader series of Canadian coins minted that year, each carrying its own significance and design elements. From the double-dated penny all the way to the uniquely designed commemorative 50-cent pieces, these Canadian 2002 coins reflect the country's rich cultural heritage and diverse landscapes. One interesting fact about the Canadian toonie is its nickname, which derives from a combination of two and loonie. The term loonie refers to the $1 coin featuring a common loon design on its reverse side. When the bimetallic $2 coin was introduced, Canadians naturally dubbed it the toonie, emphasizing its double denomination. This unique naming tradition adds a touch of whimsy to the Canadian coinage system, further enhancing its charm and appeal to collectors worldwide. The dot and H variety for the 2002 toonie is a fascinating heir that adds a layer of intrigue to this already collectible coin. This heir manifests as a small dot, likely a die chip, situated in the bottom half of the letter H in the word Elizabeth, on the obverse side of the coin. Located beneath the center line of the H and nestled between the two side lines that form the letter, the dot and H heir is a subtle yet distinctive characteristic that sets certain specimens apart from the standard circulation coins. Identifying the dot and H variety requires a keen eye for detail. Numismatists and collectors often scrutinize the lettering on the obverse of the coin, paying particular attention to the word Elizabeth. Upon close inspection, the presence of a small dot between the center line of the H should be apparent. While some variations in the strike or surface imperfections may resemble this heir, the distinct placement and size of the dot help distinguish genuine dot and H varieties from other mint anomalies. The origin of the dot and H heir can most likely be attributed to the coin die used in the minting process. Die chips, which are small pieces of metal that break away from the surface of the die, can inadvertently transfer onto the coins during striking. In the case of the dot and H variety, a tiny chip likely formed on the die used to stamp the lettering onto the coin, resulting in the formation of this distinctive dot. Factors such as wear and tear on the die, improper maintenance, or defects in the manufacturing process could contribute to the development of die chips and consequently errors like the dot and H 2002 toonie. Despite its relatively subtle nature, the dot and H heir holds significant appeal among collectors due to its rarity and uniqueness. Coins exhibiting this variety command attention and often fetch much higher prices in the numismatic market. The quest to acquire such elusive specimens drives collectors to carefully examine their coins and search for these distinctive heirs. As a result, this 2002 dot and H variety adds an element of excitement and discovery into the world of Canadian coin roll hunting, especially when it comes to toonies, and highlights the intriguing intersection of artistry, craftsmanship, and the chance of anomalies occurring during the minting process. Now, before we get into the values for the 2002 toonies, first let's go over some of the specifications. If any of these are off and may indicate that it is not a legitimate example. I'm not too sure about the 2002 Toonies, but I know that there are 1996 counterfeit Toonies. There are also 2000 knowledge counterfeits, and 2005 and 2006 are very common years for counterfeit Toonies. Now, the counterfeiters would have had to make a separate obverse die for this 2002 Toonie because it does have the double date of 1952 to 2002. But in the case of the 2000 knowledge Toonie, there are counterfeit examples of that coin, so it didn't stop them having to make a different reverse design. So very well, there could be some counterfeit examples of these 2002 Toonies floating around. And if you happen to find one of those, it doesn't matter if it has die chips or not, it is pretty much worthless. So the overall mintage figure for the 2002 Toonie is 27,008,000. The coin is composed of an outer ring of 100% nickel and an inner core of 92% copper, 6% aluminum, and 2% nickel. It has a weight of 7.3 grams, a diameter of 28 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.8 millimeters. The coin was designed and engraved by Dora DePatry Hunt and Augo Arand for the obverse and Brent Townsend and Augo Arand for the reverse. The edge of the coin is serrated and it has a die axis in metal alignment, as is the standard for most Canadian, British, and Australian coins. Now, as I've mentioned in several of my other videos, unfortunately there aren't a whole lot of Canadian loonies and toonies that are worth too much above their face value. And usually if you find any of the Canadian $1 or $2 coins and they're pretty beat up and not in the greatest shape, you are not going to be able to get a whole lot more money for them than they are actually worth. Now, in the case of the 2002 commemorative toonie, the most amount of money that you could get for that coin is $72 for an MS66. Now, that is for the regular 2002 double dated toonie without any errors or varieties. Now, if you can identify the dot, which means you have to flip over to the obverse and look for a small dot or die chip located in the center bottom of the H in Elizabeth, then it can add a pretty large premium to the coin and makes it about twice to 3 times as valuable as the regular issue. So it can be worth around $20 to $25 for an MS64 example, around $120 for an MS66, and if you were able to find one and it got the MS67 or higher, you could easily be talking a $500 to $1,000 toonie. This is a fairly modern piece, so if you are coin roll hunting toonies or checking your pocket change, there is a good chance that you might be able to find one of these 2002 toonies, and it is still in pretty decent shape. But if you want to be able to get the most amount of money for a 2002 dot and H toonie, you want it to be in an exceptional grade, and the best chance of finding one of the toonies that scores in the high MS range is going to be out of an uncirculated roll. Now, being released in the year 2002, these coins are now 22 years old as I am making this video, but in the world of coin collecting, that is a mere blink of an eye, and you can actually find these rolls on Canadian coin sites like Coins Unlimited and Colonial Acres for a pretty decent price. And if you happen to buy one of the rolls, bust it open, and can identify one of these die chips, which is definitely possible, a lot of the time when you are looking for errors or varieties like the 1964 extra waterline nickel, usually if you are busting open an uncirculated roll, either all of the coins will have the error or variety or none of them will. But when it comes to a more minor error or variety like the dot and H, which is a die chip, there is a chance that a few of these toonies could have made their way into the roll, and if you can identify the die chip for the dot and H variety, and even a few of the toonies have them and they are in really good shape, you can turn a massive profit. The Voyager dollar was minted in Canada from 1935 until 1986. It originally contained 80% silver until the year 1968, when a smaller nickel version was introduced and circulated until the year 1987, when it was succeeded by the iconic loonie. Despite its discontinuation, Voyager dollars actually maintained legal tender status. In the year 1970, the Canadian Mint marked a significant milestone with the issuance of its inaugural commemorative nickel dollar. This special coin was crafted to honor the 100th anniversary of Manitoba's entry into the Canadian Confederation. The commemorative dollar showcases a design by renowned Canadian artist Raymond Taylor featuring the prairie crocus, which holds the distinction of being the provincial flower of Manitoba. Raymond Taylor's artistic contribution to this commemorative coin captures the essence of Manitoba's natural heritage and emphasizes the symbolic significance of the prairie crocus. As a celebrated Canadian artist, Taylor skillfully translated the beauty of this provincial flower onto this coin, adding a touch of cultural and regional identity to the numismatic landscape. The issuance of this commemorative nickel dollar stands as a testament to the rich history and artistic diversity encapsulated within Canadian coinage. Now let's briefly go over countermarked or counterstamped coins. A countermarked, punchmarked, or counterstamped coin refers to a coin that has been marked or stamped with an additional symbol or impression after its original production during circulation. While this practice is now obsolete, it served various purposes historically. One reason for countermarking was currency reform, where existing coins would be marked with a new value following a change in the currency system, which could extend the lifespan of the coins rather than recalling and replacing them. Additionally, foreign coins might be countermarked to be recognized as legal tender or accepted currency within a specific region. For example, the Mexican pillar dollar was actually quite popular in Canada before the introduction of its decimalized currency system, so I would not doubt that in some regions they may have countermarked these pillar dollars. Countermarking could also have political motivations, with a new state or regime showcasing its authority by countermarking coins issued by the previous state. The term countermark is often associated with manual punching onto a coin using a punch and a hammer or a primitive hand-operated machine. In contrast, a counterstamp is applied by a die and machine to an existing coin, with the use of counterstamps typically requiring authorization from a local or national government. An example of this authorization could be in post-World War II Germany, where some of the coins were actually defaced and the swastika removed and a countermark or counterstamp added so that they could still be continued to be used in everyday transactions, especially after the war when there is a huge need for coins. The term punchmark is also commonly used when referring to the earliest Indian silver coins. These are coin-like pieces of metal with a standard weight bearing various symbols that are applied with punches, resulting in what is known as punchmarked coins. Now, the GAN counterstamped Canadian 1970 dollar coins are unique numismatic pieces that were created in commemoration of the death of Gamal Abdul Nasser, the president of Egypt, in the year 1970. Approximately 1,000 of these counterstamps were applied to Manitoba dollars by the Arbon, Vancouver community. The counterstamp features the inscription GAN 1918 to 70, enclosed within an oval. This distinctive marking pays tribute to Gamal Abdel Nasser, noting the years of his birth, 1918, and his death in 1970. This counterstamp serves as both a historical and memorializing element, adding a layer of significance to the Canadian dollar coins from the year 1970. The extremely limited production of these counterstamped coins makes them both intriguing and collectible items for enthusiasts and numismatists of historical events. Now, to identify this GAN counterstamp, what you want to do is flip over to the obverse of the coin. It should be rather large and obvious, but it will be located to the right-hand side and in some cases making contact with her chin. The overall mintage for the 1970 Canadian commemorative Manitoba dollar is 4,140,058, and as I mentioned earlier, only 1,000 of these counterstamped coins were ever made. The 1970 nickel dollars are composed of 99.9% nickel. They have a weight of 15.62 grams, a diameter of 32.13 millimeters, and a thickness of 2.62 millimeters. The obverse was designed and engraved by Arnold Maughan and Walter Ott, and the reverse was designed and engraved by Raymond Taylor and Walter Ott. The edge of the coin is reeded, it is magnetic, and it has a die-axis in metal alignment, as is the standard for most Canadian, British, and Australian coins. Now, in terms of the value for the 1970 nickel dollars, they aren't super valuable on the low end. If you find a regular 1970 Manitoba commemorative, it's worth pretty much face value if it is beat up and worn. It can be worth around $3.50 for an MS-60, and its maximum value is probably around $100 for an MS-67. Now, if you can identify that GAN counterstamp on the obverse of the coin. It's not going to make it a holy grail and you aren't going to be able to retire from this coin, but I would say that you can get anywhere from $5 to $10 for one of these, even if it is pretty beat up and worn. It has a really cool story and people will probably want to add these to their collection. And for all we know, the value could increase as time goes on. Now, as we start to get into the mint state range, it can be worth around $35 for an MS62. Now, if you compare that to the regular 1970 without the counter stamp, that's only worth around $3.70. So this thing is worth more than 10 times more. The maximum value listed for this coin currently is $151 for an MS64 example, but that isn't a terrible thing because if you were able to buy a huge lot of $1970 and even find like 5 of these things, you can still turn a really good profit if any of them score in the mint state range. And even if you find a couple of them that are pretty beat up and worn, you will be able to make more than their face value. I guarantee you, if anyone offered one of these to me that is beat up and worn for around $5, I would probably want to buy it just because it has such a cool story associated with it. And there were only 1,000 of them that were created. But you definitely want to make sure that it is legitimate. If you were to find one, I would suggest taking it to your coin shop. Let them give it a little look and they will probably tell you whether it is legitimate or not. But chances are, if it does have that counter punch mark, it is probably one of these GAN $1970. Now, even though it says it's only worth around $150 for an MS64 example, if you were able to find one and it scored any higher, you'd probably see some nice price jumps. You could easily be talking $1,000 coin or more if it did score in that MS66 or MS67 region. This is definitely a good one to look for if you are able to score any 1970 silver dollars in a big lot. I know Coins Unlimited, one of my favorite coin shops, actually sells massive 100-piece lots of these Canadian nickel dollars, and they're only about $10 or $20 more than their face value. So about $120, and you can get 100 of these nickel dollars to search. And if you buy all 1970s, you may just be able to find yourself one of these counter-stamped coins. In the year 2010, the Canadian Mint produced 2 varieties for the tuni with differing numbers of serrations along the outside rim. The more common version of this coin has 16 serrations, while the rarer of the 2 varieties only has 14 serrations. These serrations serve both aesthetic and functional purposes, aiding in the coin's anti-counterfeiting measures and providing a tactile texture for easy identification. The rarer variety of the 2010 Toonies only has 14 serrations along the outer rim. This difference in the serration counts sets it apart from the more common version and makes it more highly sought after by collectors. Now, to differentiate the 14 serration variety from the more common 16 serration version, you just need to inspect the outer rim of the coin. Counting the serrations along the rim can help identify which of the 2 2010 Toonie varieties that you possess. Due to its rarity, the 14 serration variety of these 2010 Toonies holds greater collectible value compared to the more common 16 serration version. The discovery of such minor variations in coin designs often sparks excitement among collectors and numismatists. These unique varieties contribute to the diversity and richness of the hobby, encouraging further exploration and study of Canadian coinage. The Canadian 2010 Toonie, with its 2 serration varieties, is a prime example of the intricacies and nuances found within the world of numismatics. The quest to uncover and find rare varieties like the 14 serration Toonie adds a layer of depth and excitement to the pursuit of collecting Canadian coins and also gives you another reason to coin roll hunt Toonies here in Canada. Now, in the year 2010, an intriguing toonie was discovered in a set celebrating the Vancouver Olympic Games known as the No Waterlines variety. This unique variation is found exclusively within the 2010 Olympic coin sets, and it offers collectors a distinctive twist on the traditional design. To identify this variety, you simply need to scrutinize the background behind the polar bear featured on the coin's reverse in the center core. Unlike the regular issue, the No Waterlines variety exhibits a smoother appearance with fewer details and lines in the water, creating a visually captivating contrast. The existence of this 2010 No Waterlines variety on this Canadian toonie may be attributed to several factors in the minting process. One plausible explanation could involve dye preparation and maintenance. Dye polishing, a routine step in the dye preparation process, involves smoothing out imperfections and irregularities on the dye's surface to ensure clear and precise strikes on the coins. During die polishing, if the background behind the polar bear on the center core of the die was not uniformly treated, it could result in variations in the level of detail and lines present in the design. This inconsistency could lead to the creation of the no waterlines variety, where the background exhibits fewer details and lines compared to the standard version. Other factors such as die wear or differences in striking pressure could also contribute to these variations or the appearance of the coin's design elements. Over time, dies undergo wear and tear from the repeated striking of coins, which can affect the clarity and definition of the design. Variations in striking pressure during the minting process can also result in differences in the depth and intensity of the design elements on the coin. While the exact cause of the no waterlines variety may not be definitively known, it is likely the result of subtle differences in the die preparation or striking process. Despite the rarity of this variety and its presence primarily in the 2010 Olympic coin sets, it serves as a fascinating example of the intricacies and nuances involved in the minting of Canadian coins. Now, what sets the no waterlines variety apart from the other 2010 toonies is not just its scarcity, but also its potential for increased value when combined with other rare features. For instance, if paired with the 14 serration variety, the value of this coin can escalate significantly, potentially reaching or exceeding $1,000. Now, most or all of the toonies made for these sets were intended to come with these 16 serrations, so finding one with 14 serrations and no waterlines could make it a one-of-a-kind air coin. Now, we do have some price estimates for the no waterlines variety, which are as followed. This coin is classified as NBU, meaning it has a brilliant uncirculated finish and comes out of a set, but it would not look any different than your standard 2010 toonie unless it has the no waterlines air. So just to give you guys an idea, if you find the regular 2010 toonie out of this set and it doesn't have any airs and it has the 16 serrations, which is the standard, then it can be worth up to $35 for an NBU 67, which isn't quite at the tip top of the Sheldon scale, but it is a really high grade example of one of these coins. Now, if you can identify the no waterlines variety, which will mean that there will be less detail in the water ripples on the center core reverse design of the coin, then it can be worth around $200 for an NBU 67. So the price increases quite a bit from the standard issue, and if you were to find one and it scored any higher than that, you could be sure that you would see some big price jumps. You could easily be talking a $1,000 coin or more if it hits that NBU 70 mark. So let's also discuss the value for the regular circulation 2010 toonies. If you were to find the 2010 business strike, it would be classified as an MS. The value of the 16 serration version, which is the more common issue, can be worth up to $51 for an MS 66 example, which is an exceptionally high grade for a business strike. If you were to find the rare of the two varieties, which is the 14 serration version of the 2010 toonie, it can be worth up to $350 for an MS66 example. So it is actually quite valuable and one of the more rare of the Canadian toonies that you can look for. And as I mentioned earlier, if you were able to find one of the 2010 Olympic sets and identify both the 14 serrations and also the no waterline variety on the 2010 toonie out of the set, you could be talking a one-of-a-kind holy grail coin, as all the 2010 toonies and the Olympic sets were intended to be struck with 16 serrations. So if you ever are able to find the no waterline variety, you also want to check and see if maybe, just maybe, it has the 14 serrations as well. The allure of discovering rare varieties like the 2010 No Waterlines toonie extends beyond the realm of mere coin collecting. Each new variety discovered adds a layer of depth and excitement to the hobby and prompts collectors to delve deep into their collections to see if they possess any of these unique pieces. The possibility of finding one of these rare coins in circulation or in your pocket change adds an element of fun and surprise to the pursuit and encourages enthusiasts to keep a keen eye on their pocket change for hidden treasures. In the world of coin collecting, every discovery holds the potential to unveil a hidden gem, and the no waterlines variety exemplifies this sentiment perfectly. As collectors embark on their quest to acquire these elusive coins, they contribute to the broader appreciation and understanding of Canadian numismatic history. With each new, unique variety that surfaces, it gives us another chance to own a tangible piece of Canadian numismatic history. The Constitution Act of 1982 was a vital component of Canada's constitution and facilitated the patriation process and introduced amendments to the British North America Act of 1867, renaming it the Constitution Act of 1867. It marked a pivotal moment by enacting the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, safeguarding Aboriginal rights, and also establishing procedures for constitutional conferences and outlining future amendment processes. In 1982, Canada gained full sovereignty and concluded with the proclamation signing by Queen Elizabeth II and Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau on April 17, 1982. Now, in the year 1982, they did release two different designs for the Canadian nickel dollars. They released the regular Voyager design, and then they also released this Commemorative Constitution Act silver dollar commemorative. This is also the first time that the Royal Canadian Mint issued a commemorative and a Voyager dollar in the same year for circulation. The reverse design of the Constitution dollar draws inspiration from Robert Harris's painting, The Fathers of Confederation. Although the original painting perished in a fire in 1916, artist Rex Woods reconstructed a copy in 1968 with slight modifications, including the addition of 3 individuals. This iconic representation of the coin pays homage to Canada's constitutional history and commemorates the Fathers of Confederation. Now, one of the more notable errors that you can look for on a 1982 Constitution dollar is a rotated die error. The process of rotated coin dies, particularly in the context of the 1982 Constitution dollar, involves ensuring proper alignment of the dies in coin presses during the striking process. Errors can manifest when the dies experience offset, tilting, or rotation. Rotation errors specific to the 1982 dollar occur when the images on the obverse and the reverse dies are turned 180 degrees from their normal positions. These rotation errors contribute to the uniqueness and collectability of these coins as they deviate from the standard minting processes. So usually Canadian coins will come struck in metal alignment, which means that the obverse and reverse are both oriented in the same direction. But if you want to identify one of these rotated die varieties, then you want it to be in coin alignment, meaning that the obverse and reverse will be rotated 180 degrees from each other. This is usually the standard for American coins. Another interesting factor that is associated with these dollar coins is the thickness of the planchettes used to produce them. The majority of the 1982 Constitution dollars were struck on regular-sized nickel planchettes, while a small number were produced on a thinner planchette. Now, you can go mad trying to find accurate information about the origins of such varieties, but the most likely reasons for this to occur during the minting process are the following. Planchette variation. During the preparation of coin blanks, variations in thickness may occur due to factors like the composition of the metal or the minting equipment's settings. Some planchettes may be thinner than the standard thickness. Error in planchette feeding. Errors in the machinery responsible for feeding planchettes into the coin press can lead to variations in thickness. If thinner planchettes are mistakenly fed into the press, coins struck from these planchettes will exhibit thinner dimensions. Quality control issues. Issues in quality control mechanisms may result in the acceptance of planchettes that deviate from the intended specifications. If thinner planchettes are not identified and removed during quality checks, they could end up being used in the coin production process. Minting anomalies. Anomalies in the minting process, such as variations in pressure or temperature, could contribute to the creation of coins with non-standard thickness. These anomalies may be unintentional, resulting in unique and rare variations. And variability in metal composition. Variations in the composition of metal used for planchettes can lead to differences in physical characteristics of the coin, including the thickness. If there are any inconsistencies in the metal alloy, it may affect how the planchettes are struck. So the rarer of the two different planchette varieties is the 1982 Constitution thin planchette. My suggestion to be able to identify one of these would be pretty simple, and that is to hold on to a standard 1982 nickel dollar and use that as a comparison. If you find any of these and it has the rotated die, and then you find that the planchette is a lot thicker when you compare and do an edge check with another standard 1982 dollar, then chances are you might have one of these rare thin planchette varieties as well. Now, the mintage figure for the 1982 Constitution dollar is 11,812,000. Some of the details and specifications: it is composed of 99.9% nickel. It has a weight of 15.62 grams, a diameter of 32.13 millimeters. It is magnetic and it has a diaxis in metal alignment, as is the standard for most Canadian, British, and Australian coins, but it does have that rotated die error that you can look for, and then it will be in coin alignment, which is the standard for American coins. Now, there's also a small jewel variety that you can look for on these coins, but it doesn't add much premium. If you want to be able to get the big bucks, you want to be able to find the thin planchette or a coin alignment version of this coin. So first we will start with the thin planchette in metal alignment. So this, the obverse and reverse, will both be oriented in the same direction. It will be like your standard Canadian coins, but it will have a thinner planchette. So I would compare the edge with another 1982 Constitution dollar. And if it looks like the planchette is significantly thinner, then you might have yourself a fairly rare coin. Now, there aren't any low end values listed, but I would say that you could get a couple $100 if you do identify the thin planchette in metal alignment. The only value that is listed is an MS63 example, and it can be worth around $5,000. So this is one of the most rare and valuable of the Canadian nickel dollar series, and definitely a good one to look for. And then you can also look for the version of the thin planchette that is in coin alignment, meaning that the obverse and reverse will be rotated 180 degrees from each other, and it will have the same orientation as American coins. Now, if you can identify the coin alignment and then it also has a thin planchette, it can be worth around $3,000 for an MS60 and all the way up to $5,000 for an MS63 example. If you found one of these and it's not in the greatest shape, I don't doubt that you could still probably get a couple $100 for them, especially considering that there aren't too many of these Voyager dollars that are super valuable. And then the last is going to be the most rare and valuable of these 1982 Constitution dollars, and that is the Constitution regular sized planchette in coin alignment. So this one is going to be like American coins. The obverse and reverse will be rotated 180 degrees. In terms of its value, it can be worth around $4,500 for an MS60, around $7,000 for an MS63, and all the way up to $15,000 for an MS66 example. If you did find one of these and it's on the lower end, I don't doubt that you could get anywhere from $500 to $1,000. A lot of people like to buy those 1948 silver dollars, but who knew that there was a nickel dollar that could be almost as valuable? In the year 1999, to commemorate the establishment of Nunavut, Canada's newest territory, the Canadian government commissioned a special design for the tuni. Renowned First Nations artist Germain Arnon-Tayok was selected to create this unique design, infusing it with cultural significance and symbolism reflective of Nunavut's heritage. Arnon-Tayok's artistic vision brought to life the essence of Nunavut's founding, celebrating its indigenous culture and the resilience of its people. This commemorative design graced all 1999 $2 coins intended for general circulation, becoming an emblem of Nunavut's identity and historical significance. Depicting motifs inspired by Inuit art tradition, such as Arctic wildlife and cultural symbols, the coin serves as a tangible representation of Nunavut's rich cultural heritage. This special edition of the tuni held immense significance for Canadians nationwide, marking a milestone in the country's history and recognizing the importance of Indigenous voices and narratives. I actually remember when they first released this commemorative Nunavut tuni. I was only 9 years old at the time, and it was probably the first commemorative coin that I ever found in my pocket change. And even I didn't know back then that decades later these coins would hold such significance in my own life. It's important to note that in 1999, the iconic polar bear design typically featured on Canadian $2 coins was only available in limited quantities within special coin sets tailored for the collector market. These sets were designed to appeal to numismatists and collectors and offered a unique opportunity to acquire a piece of Canadian history and culture. In the fascinating realm of Canadian numismatics, a remarkable tale unfolds with the 1999 Nunavut Mule tuni, an air coin that captivates collectors with its unique characteristics and also historical significance. During the minting process of the Nunavut $2 coins, an unusual mishap occurred when the reverse die designated for the striking of proof silver coins was mistakenly employed to produce a portion of regular circulation coins. This unintentional blending of minting processes resulted in the creation of a select number of nunavut mule toonies, adding to this intriguing chapter in the denomination's history. Identifying these elusive mule coins requires a keen eye and an understanding of their distinguishing features. Unlike their standard circulation counterparts, Nunavut mule toonies lack the raised ring around the inner core on the reverse side of the coin. This anomaly is particularly noteworthy given that the Nunavut toonies were struck in both base metals for circulation and precious metals for collectors, with variations in the reverse design. By examining the reverse of the coin closely, you can discern the absence of the raised rim where the ring and insert meet, indicating the coin's status as the mule variant. Now, the overall mintage for the Canadian 1999 Nunavut toonie is 25,130,000. Let's take a little look into some of the technical specifications into the coin. It was crafted with an outer ring made of 100% nickel and a core comprising of 92% copper, 6% aluminum, and 2% nickel. It has a weight of 7.3 grams and a diameter of 28 millimeters. The edge of the coin is serrated, which adds to its visual appeal and tactile experience, while the engraved designs on both the obverse and reverse sides showcase the artistic talents of renowned artists Dora DePadre Hunt, Germain Arnautyuk, and Jose Azio. With an estimated production of approximately 3,000 mule coins, the Nunavut mule toonie stands as a rare and coveted treasure within the realm of Canadian numismatics. Its unique status as a handsome mule, coupled with its association within the founding of Nunavut, Canada's newest territory, adds layers of historical significance and cultural resonance. As collectors and enthusiasts alike marvel at these intriguing specimens, each Nunavut mule toonie serves as a tangible testament to the intricacies and occasional surprises found within the world of coin minting. Now, once again, to identify this coin, Nunavut mule toonies lack the raised ring around the inner core on the reverse side of the coin. By examining the reverse side closely, you can discern the absence of the raised rim where the ring and the insert meet, which will indicate its status as the mule variant. So what do you say we discuss some of the values for the 1999 Nunavut toonies? Now, the regular base price for the 1999 polar bear out of the proof set, now this is not actually a proof strike, it is just simply a uncirculated set, is worth around $35 for the polar bear. That is the more valuable of the regular issues. And then there is the regular issue 1999 Nunavut without any errors or varieties. This is worth around $25 maximum, which isn't too bad. If you're able to score one of these sets for a pretty reasonable price, around $20, and the coins are in impeccable condition, you can still turn a little profit if you send it in to be graded. But then we have the holy grail, the Nunavut mule toonie, which is quite a bit more valuable than the other two, if I do say so myself. Now, the price estimates kick in for this coin at NBU 64. So it is not a proof-like strike or a proof strike. It is just a business strike that contains this mule air. For an NBU 64, it can be worth around $245. For a 66, it can be worth $318. And for an uncirculated 67, it can be worth around $537. If it did score any higher, a 68 or 69, you could easily be talking a $1,000 coin or more. Now, just to clarify quickly, in the realm of Canadian numismatics, coin sets play a pivotal role in commemorating significant events and celebrating our nation's rich heritage. One notable category within these sets is the NBU or Brilliant Uncirculated coins. These coins, while not intended for circulation, are struck with the same composition as those produced for general circulation. The only difference is that they are basically packaged meticulously by the mint, but the actual strikes or finishes on these coins are no different than the standard circulation issues. From the moment of their minting, brilliant uncirculated set coins are carefully preserved in protective envelopes or the original packaging, which safeguards their luster and ensures their untouched state. However, once removed from these secure confines, distinguishing one of these brilliant uncirculated set coins from a circulated business strike becomes a more challenging task, as their identical compositions blur the lines between a numismatic treasure and an everyday currency. The evolution of terminology within the numismatic community sheds light on the significance of these brilliant uncirculated set coins. They were initially referred to as proof-like or PL coins, but the term underwent a transformation in the year 1977 with third-party grading companies and other references adopting the NBU designation. This change reflected a broader recognition of the coin's brilliant and uncirculated state, highlighting their value beyond more than currency. So, pretty much what I am trying to tell you guys is if you buy a Canadian proof set after the year 1977, your coins will receive a designation of NBU, meaning brilliant uncirculated out of a set. But if you send a pre 1977 coin in to be graded, it will either receive a PL proof like designation, or if it's a little bit earlier, it might also receive the PR designation, which is the proof designation. The reason that I'm bringing this up is because a lot of these mule coins will get the NBU designation. They weren't actually produced for general circulation. That doesn't mean that you can't find them in your pocket change, or if you are coin roll hunting, crazier things have happened and people have found true gems and one of a kind holy grails before. So it is always good to have these coins on your radar and know what to look for so you don't accidentally let a gem slip back into the wilds of circulation. Now, in the year 2012, there were actually 4 different designs released for Canadian loonies. The first is the regular loon design. The second is the loon design with added and improved security features. The production of the security $1 coins is carried out at the Mint's state-of-the-art facility located in Winnipeg, Manitoba. These coins are crafted utilizing the innovative multiply plated steel technology, a patented method that has been employed in the manufacturing of Canada's lower denomination circulation coinage since 2001. This technology also involves the application of alternating layers of distinct metals such as copper, nickel, and brass onto a steel core. This process significantly reduces the amount of metals required compared to traditional alloy coins, resulting in a cost-effective and environmentally conscious approach to coin production. These $1 coins also boost the incorporation of advanced security features, contributing to the overall safeguarding of Canada's coinage system. Notably, the reverse side, also known as the tails, showcases a laser mark micro engraving. This addition enhances the visibility of security measures, providing an extra layer of protection against counterfeiting and bolstering the integrity of the currency. The third design released in 2012 is a circulation coin known as the Lucky Loonie, with a distinctive purpose serving as a good luck charm for Canadian athletes participating in the prestigious 2012 Olympic and Paralympic Games in London. This unique coin was crafted with the intention of bringing positive vibes and good fortune to the Canadian competitors on the global stage. The concept of the Lucky Loonie has its roots in a captivating legend that emerged during the 2002 Olympic Winter Games in Salt Lake City. According to the tale, a loonie, the iconic Canadian $1 coin featuring an image of a common loon, was discreetly buried at the center of the ice rink just before the commencement of the games. This hidden coin was believed to carry a charm that would bestow good luck upon Canada's hockey teams. Remarkably, in the year 2002, both the men's and women hockey teams went on to secure gold medals, turning the Lucky Loonie into a symbol of superstition and national pride. Now, the fourth and final design for the Loonie in 2012 is actually the one that you want to look for. It was released to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the Grey Cup. This coin was issued as a tribute to the enduring legacy and significance of the Grey Cup, a symbol deeply ingrained in Canadian sports history. Struck with precision and artistry, the $1 coin features iconic imagery associated with the Grey Cup and its century-long tradition. The reverse side features a stylized depiction of the Grey Cup trophy and elements that capture the spirit of Canadian football. In addition to its artistic appeal, the coin serves as a tangible memento for Canadians to celebrate the rich heritage of Canadian football and the cultural significance of the Grey Cup. The issuance of this coin is not only a recognition of the sport's impact on Canadian identity, but also means of commemorating the athletes, teams, and fans who have contributed to the Grey Cup's storied legacy over the past 100 years. Now, people will usually try and fish out the Loonies or Toonies with added security features, as you would think that they would be worth more money, but that isn't really the case with these 2012 Loonies. The value of both the Loon Reverse dollars from 2012 are both worth pretty much the same amount up and down the Sheldon scale, but little known to most, there is actually an error that you can look for on the Grey Cup commemorative that can add a premium to the coin. Now, to identify this error, what you want to do is look at the date of 2012 and identify machine doubling. Here's a brief explanation of how machine doubling occurs. During the coin minting process, a blank metal disc, also called a planchette, is placed on the lower die, and the upper die descends to strike the planchette, transferring the design onto it. Machine doubling occurs when there is a slight movement or shift of the coin or the die during the striking process. The result is that parts of the design appear doubled, giving the illusion of additional details or thickness. However, unlike true doubled dies, machine doubling does not involve the doubling of the coin die itself. Instead, it is a secondary unintended impression caused by movement during the striking of the coin. Machine doubling can often create a flattened or shelf-like appearance to the doubled elements. Unlike genuine double dies, machine doubling is typically not as sharp or well defined. It's also worth noting that machine doubling is a common occurrence and is usually considered a minor error in the minting process rather than a rare or sought after variety by coin collectors. But in the case of Canadian loonies, there are just so few that are actually worth any decent money that being able to identify even a minor error, especially if that date is known to contain one of these errors, can definitely add a premium to the coin. Now, in terms of value, a regular 2012 Grey Cup loonie isn't going to be worth much more than face value unless it is in impeccable condition, but it can be worth up to $100 if it does score an MS67, which is usually one of the highest grades obtained by Canadian coins. That being said, if you were able to identify doubling on the date of 2012, it could easily add a premium of anywhere from 3 to 5 times its original value depending on how bad somebody wants this coin. So around $300 would be my estimate if you found one of these with doubling and it scored an MS67. Usually PCGS does not attribute minor errors like this, but there is a chance if you send it off to ICCS, you may be able to get the extra error attribution, and thus the coin should be worth more money if it's in a high grade state at least. In honor of Canada's 150th anniversary, a glow in the dark coin was introduced into circulation, presenting the ethereal charm of the Northern Lights in a new, truly distinctive manner. Crafted for the special occasion of Canada's 150th birthday, the 2017 tuni, aptly named The Dance of Spirits, pays homage to the marvels of Canadian landscapes by showcasing the breathtaking aurora borealis. The design on the reverse side of the Dance of the Spirits 2017 tuni portrays adventurers gracefully paddling across a tranquil lake beneath the radiant veil of the Northern Lights. The Northern Lights are actually referred to as the Dance of the Spirits by the Cree peoples, adding cultural depth and symbolism to the coin. Another cohesive element among the different 2017 commemorative coins is the inclusion of the Canada 150th logo, characterized by a mosaic arrangement of 13 triangular shapes, each representing a different province or territory. Some of the specifications for this coin: it was crafted with a 3-ply nickel finish plated with steel for the outer ring, and a 3-ply brass finish plated with aluminum bronze for the inner core. The coin has a weight of 6.99 grams and a diameter of 28 millimeters and was released for general circulation. Marking a significant milestone in coinage history, the Canadian 2017 glow-in-the-dark tuni stands out as the world's premier glow-in-the-dark coin to be introduced into general circulation. This wasn't the first instance of the Canadian Mint venturing into the realm of glow-in-the-dark coins. In the year 2012, Canada unveiled a quarter featuring the luminous skeleton of a dinosaur. Though this coin wasn't intended for widespread circulation, its innovation didn't go unnoticed. In fact, it garnered the prestigious Krauss Publications 2014 Coin of the Year award for its trailblazing design, further solidifying Canada's reputation as a leader in numismatic innovation. Now, what do you say we get into the coin that you guys are all here to find out about, and that is the Canadian 2017 Snow on Trees variety for this glow-in-the-dark tuni. Now, the 2017 glow-in-the-dark Snow on Trees variety presents a distinctive feature that sets it apart from its regular counterpart. To identify this unique variety, one must scrutinize the details of the tree line on the center brass core of the coin. If the tree line is outlined by a white shading or glow, then it belongs to the Snow on Trees variety. If there is no white outlining the trees, then it is the standard version without any variety. While this error variety might not be widely recognized currently, it bears similarities to popular errors seen in coins from the United States, which have garnered considerable attention among collectors. Considering the rarity of the 2017 tuni, which is arguably one of the most scarcest in circulation, with a minimum base value ranging from $10 to $20 when they sell online, possessing the snow on trees or the snow on mountains variety could elevate the value of a high grade example to being one of the most coveted among tuni collectors. Now, if we take a look at coin errors in the United States, one notable example is the extra leaf error found on the Wisconsin state quarter, which was released in the year 2004 as part of the 50 state quarters program. Now, on this subtle error, an additional leaf appears on the ear of the corn featured on the reverse side of the coin. This anomaly was the result of a die variety, likely due to misalignment during the minting process. Coin errors like the extra leaf Wisconsin quarter can significantly impact the value of a coin. Collectors often seek out such varieties due to their rarity and uniqueness. In the case of the Wisconsin quarter, coins with the extra leaf error can fetch prices well above their face value, particularly if they're in high grade condition. Depending on factors such as the severity of the error, the coin's condition, and also demand from collectors, the value of these error coins can vary widely. These varieties are often viewed as curiosities and highly sought after by numismatists. As a result, error coins can command premiums in the numismatic market, and it makes them a valuable asset for collectors who are keen to acquire rare and unusual pieces that may appreciate in value. So even though this 2017 toonie might not be setting the coin world on fire right now, it doesn't mean that that can't change very quickly, and this could easily become one of the most valuable toonies that you could find or look for. If I had to give an estimate currently, if you were able to find one of these and identify the snow on trees variety, it would probably be worth about 5 to 10 times the value of the regular glow in the dark toonie. So the regular glow in the dark being worth around $100 to $150 in a high grade state, I don't doubt that this coin could be worth up to $1,000 if it's scored in the high mint state range and somebody really wanted to add it to their collection. Now, one super crucial piece of advice that I want to share is about the value of coins. One of the questions that I get asked most often on my channel is, how much is my coin worth? Now, whether it's a rare gem, a key date, an error or variety, or even a common piece, determining a coin's true worth boils down to a simple fact. It's worth exactly what someone is willing to pay for it. Even though I might assess a coin at a certain value based on several factors such as rarity and condition, that estimate doesn't necessarily guarantee that the coin will actually sell for that price. For instance, you might find a buyer willing to pay top dollar for an MS67 example of a coin, especially if they're a passionate collector of error coins. But in most cases, buying and selling coins often results in a loss rather than a substantial profit. Now, there are instances where seemingly ordinary coins can fetch far more than their face value. I've actually experienced this firsthand. Some individuals have disposable income and are willing to splurge on coins, while others are driven by the desire to complete their collections and are willing to pay a premium for specific pieces. Additionally, there are those who may not be well versed in coin valuation and are simply drawn to spending money on items they find intriguing. So to summarize, a coin's rarity and potential value doesn't always translate into a guaranteed sale. Sometimes seemingly insignificant coins can sometimes fetch unexpectedly high prices. While I do advocate for honesty in representing a coin's value and discourage misrepresentation for profit, I also believe that certain modern coins, such as colored Canadian quarters from certain years, hold value beyond their face value. These coins, although occasionally encountered in everyday transactions in Canada, can be highly sought after by collectors worldwide, leading to increased demand and higher prices. So all of that being said, if you did find one of these 2017 toonies and you are able to identify the snow on trees variety, your best chance of being able to sell one of these for the highest premium is probably going to be on eBay or an online marketplace site like maybe Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji. Now, before we discuss this loonie variety, first we should go over the gentleman who is actually featured on this coin. He's a Canadian whose story is not only inspirational, but has made him one of the most beloved and cherished icons in Canadian history, and that man is Terry Fox. Terry Fox was born on July 28, 1958 in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. In the year 1977, at the age of 18, he was tragically diagnosed with bone cancer in his right leg. To prevent the cancer from spreading, Terry's right leg was amputated 6 inches above the knee, and he received a prosthetic limb. While undergoing treatment, Terry was deeply moved by the suffering of cancer patients around him. He then conceived the idea of the Marathon of Hope, a cross country run to raise awareness and funds for cancer research. Terry believed that if each Canadian donated $1, it could make a significant impact. On April 12, 1980, Terry Fox dipped his artificial leg in the Atlantic Ocean in St. John's, Newfoundland, marking the start of his cross country run. Despite challenges and skepticism, Terry remained determined to run across Canada to the Pacific Ocean. His journey covered an average of 42 kilometers or 26 miles per day, the equivalent of a marathon. His journey took him through 6 provinces and he faced physical challenges including blisters, extreme weather, and exhaustion. Along the way, Terry became a national hero, capturing the hearts of Canadians. After running for 143 days and covering 5,373 kilometers, that's 3,339 miles, Terry Fox was forced to stop near Thunder Bay, Ontario on September 1st, 1980. Unfortunately, the cancer had returned and spread to his lungs, making it impossible for him to continue. Terry Fox's Marathon of Hope raised over $24 million for cancer research. He became a symbol of hope, courage, and the power of one individual to make a difference. Terry Fox passed away on June 28, 1981 at the age of 22, but his legacy lives on through the annual Terry Fox Run and the ongoing work of the Terry Fox Foundation. Terry Fox's story continues to inspire people globally, and his impact on cancer research and awareness remains immeasurable. Now, what do you say we get into the coin that you guys are all here to find out about, and that is the 2005 Terry Fox No Grass variety. In the year 2005, the Canadian Mint decided to immortalize Terry Fox by featuring a depiction of his incredible marathon on the reverse of some of the loonies released for circulation that year. Little known to most, there are actually 2 recognized varieties for this loonie which gravitate around the presence or density of what should be a patch of grass behind Terry Fox. The more rare of these 2 varieties is the no grass, which to identify you want to look at the grass in the background behind Terry Fox's ankle. Now there will still be some grass present in the no grass variety, but it should be more spread out and not quite as dense as the regular grass variety. Now I will put an example of what the no grass variety looks like on the screen right now, but what I suggest is if you find a 2005 Terry Fox loonie that you hold on to it regardless if it is the grass or no grass variety, and you actually use it to compare or as a reference if you do find any more, and you can probably determine a lot more easily whether you have the grass or no grass variety. Now, some of the details and specifications for this coin. The 2005 Terry Fox loonie has an overall mintage of 12,909,000. It is composed of 91.5% nickel and 8.5% bronze. It has a weight of 7 grams, a diameter of 26.50 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.75 millimeters. The coin was designed and engraved by Susanna Blunt and Susan Taylor for the obverse, and Robert R. Carmichael and Terrence Smith for the reverse. The edge is smooth, it is magnetic, and has a die axis and metal alignment, as is the standard for most Canadian, Australian, and British coins. Now, unfortunately, as is the case with most Canadian Looney and Toonies, it is very hard to find any that are worth much more than face value, especially when they are pretty beat up. But even though these coins are not worth a fortune today, they do have the potential to increase in value over time, as they have already seen some pretty big price jumps, and only being a few decades old means that if you do find one, it will usually be in pretty good shape. Charlton Catalogs currently evaluates this coin at $150 for an MS66 example, but Coins in Canada gives it a much lower value. Now, MS66 is a very high grade, but it is not the top of the Sheldon scale. It is not quite an MS67, so that is pretty good news. If you are able to cherry pick or find an entire roll of these 2005 Terry Fox loonies, and they are all the no grass variety, you can probably make a pretty decent profit. I've seen these for sale at some of my local coin shops, and they are usually going for a pretty decent price. But regardless, it is one of the more rare and iconic Canadian loonies that you can look for whether you are searching through your pocket change or coin roll hunting, and definitely a good one to have on your radar. In the annals of numismatic history, amidst the clinking of coins and the hum of minting machinery, there exists a narrative both captivating and mysterious, a tale that transcends borders and mingles the essence of 2 nations' coinage. Enter the Canadian 2000 tuni struck on a United States Sakajawea dollar planchette. a numismatic anomaly that emerged from an unforeseen partnership between the Canadian Mint and the United States Mint, weaving together a saga rich in intrigue, collaboration, and fascination. The Sakajawea Golden Dollar, minted by the United States Mint from the years 2000 to 2008, was a groundbreaking coin, featuring an outer layer of manganese brass that gave it a distinctive golden hue. Its obverse depicted Sakajawea, the Shoshone Indian guide of a historic Lewis and Clark expedition, while the reverse showcased a soaring eagle. Sakajawea's role as a guide and the interpreter during the expedition, despite her young age and pregnancy, was crucial to its success, earning her lasting admiration. The coin's design selection process involved significant public participation, with the Dollar Coin Design Advisory Committee ultimately recommending Sakajawea's image. Sculptor Glenna Goodacre's design was unveiled at the White House in May 1999, capturing Sakajawea's likeness and commemorating her invaluable contributions to American history. This coin's release marked a significant moment in numismatic history, honoring Sakajawea's legacy and celebrating the spirit of exploration and unity. Set against the backdrop of the turn of the millennium, where the dawn of a new era beckoned, the United States Mint embarked on a monumental endeavor: the introduction of this Sakajawea dollar. As minting activity reached unprecedented heights, the Royal Canadian Mint, renowned for its precision and ingenuity, extended a helping hand to its American counterpart, forging a unique bond of collaboration in the realm of coinage, and this was not the first time that our countries collaborated or assisted each other. I have said many times that American and Canadian coins share a symbiotic relationship, and even though in most cases Canadian coins are compared and more similar to their British or Australian counterparts, it can't be denied that Canada drew heavy inspiration from the American money system. There have been other instances, like in the year 1968, where the United States Mint actually took over production of some of the Canadian dimes to help relieve some of the pressure on production when they were switching metal compositions from silver to nickel alloy that year. These dimes can be distinguished by inspecting the reading along the outside of the coin. I have actually covered the Philadelphia Mint 1968 dimes in a previous video. If you guys would like to check that out, I'll leave a link for that in the top corner. In this remarkable display of cooperation, the Canadian Mint supplied not only planchettes for the 5-cent coins in the year 2000, but also for the Sakajawea dollars, offering invaluable support to alleviate the production constraints faced by the United States Mint during this pivotal moment in numismatic history. However, amidst the flurry of minting activity, fate intervened in unexpected ways, unveiling a peculiar twist in this tale. Amidst the vast production volume exceeding 1.25 billion pieces between Philadelphia and Denver, a subtle yet significant alteration emerged. In a remarkable twist of fate, Canadian 2000 tuni was discovered struck on a United States $1 Sakajawea planchette. This coin is a testament to the relationship of the two nations in the realm of numismatics, where borders are blurred and coins transcend their intended identities. The occurrence of the planchette mix-up during the minting process is a rare but plausible phenomenon that can take place due to various factors within the minting environment. In the case of the Canadian 2000 tuni struck on a United States Sakajawea dollar planchette, the mix-up likely occurred due to a combination of logistical, mechanical, and also human factors. The minting process involves the handling of large quantities of planchettes, which are the blank metal discs used for coin production. These planchettes are typically sourced from suppliers and transported to the minting facility. During transit or storage, there is a possibility of planchettes intended for one coin type getting mixed up for those intended for another. Within the minting facility, the planchettes undergo a series of mechanical processes, including feeding into the coin presses and being struck with the coin dies. Despite stringent quality control measures, mechanical errors can occur, leading to planchettes intended for one denomination or design inadvertently being fed into coin presses set up for another. While minting operations are highly automated, human intervention is still required at various stages of the process. This includes loading planchettes into the hoppers, monitoring the operation of the coin presses, and conducting quality checks on finished coins. Human errors such as mislabeling or misidentifying planchette batches could contribute to planchette mix-ups during production. In some cases, minting facilities may produce coins for multiple countries or denominations simultaneously. This can lead to overlaps in production schedules and processes, increasing the likelihood of planchette mix-ups if the proper precautions are not taken to segregate and track different batches of planchettes. Now, as far as I can tell, there are only a few known examples of this coin accounted for currently, but that doesn't mean that you can't get lucky and find one of these in the wilds of circulation, especially if you coin roll hunt toonies on the regular. In the year 2010, an MS-66 graded example of this coin sold for $9,000. One of the more recent noted sales of this coin, an MS-64 example, sold in the year 2014 for an impressive $6,000. So even if you did find one of these and it's not in the greatest shape, it's pretty beat up, worn, and been put through the meat grinder, you're still probably going to be able to get a couple $100 for this coin. It is not too often that you stumble across planchette errors when it comes to coin roll hunting or coin collecting. And when it comes to a more modern denomination like the Canadian toonie, you can be sure it will probably bring a premium along with the coin. The 1996 beaded border toonie is considered the holy grail of Canadian $2 coins. With only 4 examples currently certified by PCGS, it stands out as the most valuable and rarest toonie in circulation today. This coin is distinguished by a unique design feature, a ring of beads around the rim on both the obverse and reverse sides of the coin, which sets it apart from the final designs of standard 1996 toonies. Now, there are 2 primary theories regarding the origin of the beaded border toonie. First, there is the pattern experiment theory, which suggests that these toonies were produced as pattern coins, which are typically experimental pieces created to test new designs or minting techniques. Under this theory, the beaded border toonie was an experimental design that was ultimately not adopted, resulting in only a few coins being produced. The second theory is the early variety theory. This theory states that the beaded border toonies were an initial design variety intended for circulation but quickly cancelled, leading to most of the struck coins being melted down. PCGS has classified the beaded border toonie as a test token, though there is no definitive proof or evidence to substantiate this classification. Regardless of its origin, this toonie remains incredibly scarce, with only 4 known examples. The 1996 beaded border toonie surpasses the rarity of any other known Canadian $2 coin, making it the most highly prized example of a Canadian toonie that you can find in circulation. These coins can reach into the thousands of dollars, which only reflects their scarcity and desirability amongst collectors, and identifying a 1996 beaded border toonie requires careful examination of the coin's rim on the obverse and reverse side. The defining characteristic of this air is the ring of beads around the rim, which appear on both the obverse and reverse. These small raised dots encircle the outer edge of the coin, which are distinct from the smooth rim of the standard 1996 toonies. Apart from the beaded border, the rest of the design matches the standard 1996 toonie, with the obverse featuring Queen Elizabeth II's effigy and the reverse displaying the iconic polar bear design by Brent Townsend. Now, these 1996 beaded border toonies hold significant value not just because of their rarity, but also due to the mystery and intrigue surrounding their creation. Whether an experimental pattern or an early design variety that was scrapped, the beaded border toonies represent a fascinating piece and facet of Canadian numismatic history. If you do ever come across a 1996 toonie with a beaded border, you might just be holding one of the rarest and most valuable coins of your life. Now, before we get into the values for this coin, some of the details and specifications, if any of these are off, it may indicate that it is not a legitimate example. Now, first, the mintage figure for the Canadian planchette 1996 toonie is $315,483,000. They did contract Deutsche Nickel to produce 10 million of the German planchettes for the Canadian 1996 toonie. The outer ring is composed of 100% nickel, and the inner core is composed of 92% copper, 6% aluminum, and 2% nickel. It has a weight of 7.3 grams, a diameter of 28 millimeters, a thickness of 1.8 millimeters. The coin was designed and engraved by Dora de Pedri Hun and Augo Arand for the obverse and Brent Townsend and Augo Arand for the reverse. The edge is serrated and has a diaxis and metal alignment, as is the standard for most Canadian, British, and Australian coins. The mystery behind the creation of the 1996 beaded border tuni's design and also its scarcity has significantly increased its interest among collectors. In 2021, one of the four known examples was offered for sale for the first time ever. This coin, graded as AU55, sold to the highest bidder for an impressive $4,000. This sale only underscores the significant value and desirability of these beaded border tunies among collectors and numismatists. This coin's unique design, coupled with the extremely limited number of known examples, makes it the most highly sought after prize of the Canadian $2 coins in circulation today. Collectors and enthusiasts alike are drawn to the intrigue surrounding its creation and the challenge of identifying such a rare piece. If you do suspect that you may have found one of these beaded border tunies, it is essential that you have it authenticated by a reputable grading service such as PCGS or ICCS to confirm its authenticity and also potentially unlock its true value. If you were to find one of these and it's scored in the mint state range, I don't doubt that you could easily get anywhere from $10,000 to even $100,000 if this coin is in impeccable condition. So make sure to give those old toonies a look over because you don't want to accidentally let a gem or holy grail slip back into the wilds of circulation and miss out on a potential huge payday. Now, what do you guys think about the 1996 beaded border toonie? What would you do if you ever found one? Or if you ever have found any of the coins that I discussed in this video, please let me know down in the comments. I would love to know. Also, I would really appreciate if you guys would smash that thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and also ring that bell notification so you can stay up to date with my new content as it is being released. But I think that is pretty much going to do it for this one, folks. So until the next one, everybody, peace out and have a good one, y'all.